What is the next step for the Tennessee Volunteers? So glad you asked. I think it's time we talk about it because it's likely the expectations from last year to this coming season are going to look different. This time last year, you won 7 games, and there was a feeling of, okay, well, can we get back to competing for the SEC? Can we take the next step as a program? Well, you emphatically did that. Won 11 games, took down Bama, tried to find out if goalposts would float. Turns out they don't. Spoiler alert. And now the expectation is, let's win the whole freaking thing. Let's win the SEC. That's what we're here for. That's great that we beat Bama. We're happy about that. We're all about it. But what we're here for now is a win in Atlanta and then making some noise in the college football playoff. That's what you now have earned the right to expect as a Tennessee Vol fan. Internally within this Tennessee Volunteer football program, that's the expectation. Josh Heupel going into year 3. Folks, it don't make sense to go from 7 wins to 11 wins, but they did that and got a lot of excitement in Knoxville. So now what? How do you take that next step? It sounds simplistic. It sounds overly obvious. But the way you take the next step, in my mind, you do it again. When I say do it again, you get double-digit wins again in 2023. There's more that goes into that, but let's talk about it from a broad strokes perspective. 2022 can mean whatever you want it to mean for the future of this Tennessee football team. I've said this many times. I will say it again right now. If next year Tennessee has things that just don't go their way and the world falls apart, and let's say they win 8 games. Let's actually be a little bit more bleak. Let's say they win 7 games. Then what was 2022? It's a great memory. That was awesome. We beat Bama. Hendon Hooker got honestly snubbed for the Heisman Trophy, but that's, we'll keep rolling. It's a great memory. Now, if you go out and do it again, you go double-digit wins, make some noise. Now this is starting to become more and more of a trend for Tennessee. Now last year wasn't just a memory. Last year was a building block for this coming season. And it's all in front of them. It can create that snowball effect. When you have that snowball effect as a program, you start putting together double-digit wins in back-to-back years, and that's now how you perceived across the college football landscape. Think about what that does on the recruiting trail. I mean, Tennessee just found out they got the number 1 player in the country in Nico Iamaleava, quarterback out of California. And you were happy about that for a long time. You probably felt like you already had the number 1 player for a long time. So I don't want to get too much into that. But you hear what I'm saying. The more that you win, and the more that you prove, come to Tennessee, win ball games, get developed, get to the league, it gives you more access to players like Nico. Soon you're getting more highly rated recruiting classes. I'm not down on the recruiting class right now. Do not get it twisted. I think they have a ton of momentum, doing a lot of great things in that class. But it continues to propel you from a talent acquisition standpoint, which you and I both know that's the name of the game in college football. If you're not yet subscribed, we would love to have y'all at the party. The Tennessee faithful, there have been times we've been on live shows in here on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 1 Central, 2 Eastern. It's felt like Neyland Stadium. Have a ton of y'all on the live chat, just going off. So we appreciate you for that. If you haven't yet subscribed, no time like the present. We would love to have you at the party. Also, follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at JDPikel. The DMs stay open, like Jalen Hyatt against Alabama. Stay wide open. Hit me there. Tell me what you want to talk about. We'll do more of what you want to see on this program. Now, the next step for Tennessee as a team to get to where they want to be, to competing for the college football playoff or winning the SEC, it sounds simple again, but here's the reality. Can you get 5% better on defense in 2023? Just 5%. You don't need to become a top 5 defense in the entire country. Can you get 5% better, especially in that secondary? Secondary wasn't bad. Secondary statistically has things that you would like to see more of. But when you turn on the tape, it wasn't like there was just no talent out there. It wasn't like there was no personnel to be able to be successful. Kentucky game, secondary looked great. Clemson game, made a lot of plays. Made Cade Klubnik look rattled. But can you be consistent and can you get 5% better? The reason why I'm harping on that 5% number is because you are going to have a new quarterback next year, Joe Milton, who I believe is really talented. And I'm not alone in that category. Derrick Henry, he believes that as well. The offense, however, I don't think it's unrealistic to assume there might be a calibration period. There might be a ramp up. Joe Milton is phenomenal. They're not going to ask him to be Hendon Hooker. This offense, I think, will look different in some ways, and you think you can still get the same results because of how you scheme guys open and all the personnel you have at receiver and all the guys you have at running back. Like, they're still going to be really good on offense, but can you allow them some margin for error? Because there were times last year where it felt like, hey, we might have to score 50 to win this game. That's fine. I mean, Tennessee was one of the best offenses in the country. You were able to score right around 50 to be able to win games. But if you can take some pressure off the offense as it's developing, as it's getting its sea legs, that would make you a more complete football team, and that would allow you to take that next step as a team. Because when you're not leaning so heavily on the offense to score 40, to score 50, and you can play different styles, then you become a championship level team. Then you become a team that can go and win a game, whether it's 17-10, or you can win the game if it's 43-41. You hear what I'm saying here? That could be the kind of world that I think Tennessee needs to live in to take the next step to being more complete and being a championship level team. Now, here's the third thing, and I think it's very important for Tennessee to take that next step to being a championship level team. I need you to beat Georgia or Alabama. If you can beat both, you're likely playing for a national title. But here's the reason why I say you need to at least beat one of those teams. Think about last season. Think about beating Alabama and just the juice that gave your program. You finished 10-2, but having one of those wins against Bama just meant so much more. And think about it this way. Think if you went 10-2, but those two losses were to Georgia and Bama. The feeling would be, can we get over the hump? Can we get there? Can we be one of college football's elite? I think if you can beat one of those teams again next year, it changes the conversation around where you stand in the SEC. And it's optics, and it's advertising, and it's marketing, and it's how you spin it. Is it fair? Probably not. Is it warranted if you get it done? I think so. I think so. So beating Georgia or Bama next season is very doable, but it's going to take your best shot. Everybody knows that. You know it. Everybody else inside that locker room knows it. But that's what I need for you to be able to take that next step. Because then think about that from a recruiting standpoint. Let's say you beat Bama in back-to-back years. You go into the home for a recruit, sit down with the kid in the living room. He's between you and Alabama. Say, you can go to Alabama if you want to, but just know we beat them the last 2 years. You want to be on the winning side of that thing? You want to smoke cigars? Come to Tennessee. That would be the feeling that it would provide. But again, Tennessee, very, very close to that next step as a program. They're now expecting SEC titles. And you should. You should. You have earned that. 2023 can mean as much as you want it to because of what you did for 2022. The ball is now in Tennessee's court. We appreciate you rocking in with us, man. We appreciate y'all joining us and being a part of this community. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Again, we're live on Tuesday. We're live on Thursday. Would love to have y'all at the party when we are live. Follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at JD Piquel. Stay up with every single thing that we're doing here. We're going to keep the party rolling, and we will see y'all next time. Hey, y'all. Thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also, be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.